Welcome back to the new series of the Speak English with a British Accent podcast. I hope your week is going well. Thank you very much for joining me, and I hope you find this week's episode helpful on your British accent journey. So let's dive in. Section 1. Maybe it's time to start stalking yourself. Now, that does sound a bit creepy and weird, but bear with me. It's really easy to lose confidence in yourself, to forget how much progress you've made. Looking back is the only way to get a sense of how far you've actually come. And to do this, why not become your own personal stalker and uncover the evidence of the improvements you've made? Some people refer back to old journals or diaries, others Google themselves to see their achievements online. Some look at their social media postings from months past, and others do a yearly audit of their highs and lows, highlighting categories like health and fitness, wealth, career, goals, etc. For my Learning British Accent members, I encourage them to create a folder on their computer for their personal audio recordings. Now, as you work through each of the different sounds, it's important to make recordings of your voice so you can play them back and analyse what difference there are between my RP voice and yours. Label each recording with the date, and you have an audio library that you can listen back to, and you can hear just how much your pronunciation has improved through your daily and weekly practice. Celebrate your progress.
This podcast is brought to you by Wise, the app for international people using money around the globe. With Wise, you can send, spend, and receive up to 40 currencies with only a few simple taps. Plus, Wise won't add hidden fees to your transfer, whether you're paying bills in the local currency back home or receiving pounds, rupees, or yen from loved ones overseas. You'll get the mid-market exchange rate with no extra markups. Join 15 million customers and download the Wise app today or visit wise.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Section 2. Verb it out. Phrasal verbs for emotion. In this section, we'll be looking at emotion phrasal verbs, 2-word verbs that describe emotions and moods. Phrasal verbs are very common in everyday English speech and writing, so it's important to understand them and learn how to use them correctly. Emotion phrasal verbs allow us to express our feelings in a more descriptive and vivid way. For example, you could say, "I was very sad," or you could say, "I was feeling down." This gives a clearer picture of your emotional state. Some common emotion phrasal verbs include cheer up, let down, face up to, open up, etc. Each of these phrasal verbs expresses a different sentiment or reaction. So let's go through a brief list of them. Cheer up. Cheer up. This means to become happier. She was feeling sad, so I tried to cheer her up with some funny jokes. Break down. Break down. This could mean to start crying. When he heard the bad news, he broke down and started crying uncontrollably. Number 3. Act up. Act up, which means to misbehave. The child started acting up when he didn't get what he wanted. Wind up. Wind up, which can mean to annoy. Her constant complaining really winds me up. Let down. Let down, which means to disappoint. I felt let down when my friends didn't show up to my party. Open up. Open up, which means to share feelings. I wish he would open up more about his feelings. Lighten up. Lighten up means to relax a bit more. You need to lighten up and stop taking everything so seriously. Face up. Face up means to accept responsibility. It's time to face up to your responsibilities instead of avoiding them. Tune out. Tune out, which means to ignore. I tuned out when the lecture started getting boring. Zone out. Zone out means to lose focus. She has a habit of zoning out during class. Crack up, which means to laugh uncontrollably. The comedy skit made me crack up laughing. Freak out, which means to panic. Don't freak out, everything is going to be okay. Space out. It's another way of saying to daydream. He spaced out and didn't really hear what I said. Clam up. This means to become silent. When asked about the incident, he clammed up and refused to talk. And finally, pipe down, which means to be quiet. Can you pipe down? I'm trying to study here.
This podcast is brought to you by Wise, the app for international people using money around the globe. With Wise, you can send, spend, and receive up to 40 currencies with only a few simple taps. Plus, Wise won't add hidden fees to your transfer, whether you're paying bills in the local currency back home or receiving pounds, rupees, or yen from loved ones overseas. You'll get the mid-market exchange rate with no extra markups. Join 15 million customers and download the Wise app today or visit wise.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Section 3. Test your emotion phrasal verb knowledge. So in the previous section, we talked about some different emotion phrasal verbs. And in this section, I'd like to test your knowledge. Can you identify which emotion phrasal verbs to use? Now I have a 12-question multiple-choice quiz which you can access on the website. I shall put the link on the show notes. Listen to each of the sentences and decide which phrasal verb best fits in the blank. But let's do a few of these questions here and now. So number 1. She what when she found out she got the job? She what when she found out she got the job? Is it A, cheered up, B, broke up, C, acted up? A, cheered up, B, broke up, C, acted up. She what when she found out she got the job? Did you think A, cheered up? You'd be right. Number 2, I had made a mistake and apologised. Is it A, owned up, B, warmed up, or C, clammed up? Owned up, warmed up, clammed up. I had made a mistake and apologised. I owned up I had made a mistake and apologised. It's A. Question 3. The child what when his toy was taken away? The child what when his toy was taken away? A, let down, B, freaked out, or C, acted up? Let down, freaked out, acted up. The child acted up when his toy was taken away. As I say, you can do the full quiz on the website, link in the show notes.
This podcast is brought to you by Wise, the app for international people using money around the globe. With Wise, you can send, spend, and receive up to 40 currencies with only a few simple taps. Plus, Wise won't add hidden fees to your transfer, whether you're paying bills in the local currency back home or receiving pounds, rupees, or yen from loved ones overseas. You'll get the mid-market exchange rate with no extra markups. Join 15 million customers and download the Wise app today or visit wise.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Section 4. Learn how to speak with an RP British accent with these 5 tips. Now in this section, we're going to be learning some inside tips to help you achieve a more authentic RP British accent. Before we dive in, during this section I compare the US accent with RP in some of the sections. Now this is because I know some of you whose native language is not English, and you are or have learned English in your own country, may well have been taught US English rather than the British English that I focus on. So I hope you find it helpful that these differences are highlighted. And I do appreciate that many of you may have a completely different linguistic background, so these differences are really obvious to you. Anyway, let's continue. I'll share some examples of how to implement each tip and explain why it's important. With practice, these secrets can really take your British pronunciation to the next level, whether you're a native or non-native speaker. Tip number 1. Use British vocabulary. If you use American words like trash, sidewalk or cookie, instead of the British versions rubbish, pavement and biscuit, you'll still sound American even if you nail the pronunciation. It's important to avoid American words and use the British equivalent, although it's worth noting that many American words are finding their way into our language and culture more and more. So, for example, rather than saying you're riding in an elevator to your apartment, say you're taking the lift up to your flat instead. And you don't stand in line for the movies, you queue up at the cinema. Swap out vocab and it will start to bring your whole accent together. I'd recommend looking up the British versions of the most common American words you use. Make flashcards to practice them daily. And pay attention to vocab when consuming British media. This tip can work magic. Tip number 2, don't forget your T's. Pronouncing T sounds clearly is so important for sounding convincingly British. Americans often replace T's with D sounds, like saying city instead of city. Start by practicing words beginning with the T sound, like team and time. Feel your tongue tap the roof of your mouth sharply for that crisp T sound. You'll find a whole list of vocab to work on in Course 2 of the British Accent Bundle. Now try pronouncing T's between the vowels. This is really important. For example, in the word button, button. Keep that T nice and clear. In button, the T falls between the U vowel and the O vowel. Make sure it doesn't get lost. Don't let it slip into button, button. Button. Listen to British speakers and imitate how they enunciate their T's. Again, the list I have in my Course 2 of the British Accent Bundle gives you examples of words with T at the beginning, T in the middle, and T at the end of words. Remember, the T sound can be between two vowels of two different words. For example, get it, get it. Where the Americans might use a D sound, get it, we hear the T, get it, get it. Tip number 3, know when R becomes a vowel. When the R appears at the beginning of a word like rot, rag, red, rid, and there is a vowel sound after, we pronounce it as r, rot, rag, red, rid. Now, in British English, the R sound is often replaced with a vowel. This happens whenever a consonant follows the R in a word. For example, in the word work, work, the R becomes the sound, the schwa sound. Other examples are course, party. So that sounds like a sound, party. So do learn the main British vowel sounds that can replace the R, like or ah. Recognising when this vowel substitution occurs will hugely boost your accent. And of course, listen for it in words ending in ER too. Then again, it becomes the schwa sound, like teacher, mother. And this follows on to tip number 4, master the schwa. If you want to take your British pronunciation to the next level, you need to master the schwa sound. This ubiquitous vowel sound appears in about 30 to 40% of spoken British English. The schwa is the natural relaxed sound in words like button and Canada. Whenever you see the spelling E, it could be a schwa, like in person or teacher. Practice this schwa sound by reading paragraphs out loud and focusing on keeping the sound relaxed. You'll find it in all kinds of words in unpredictable places. Train your ear by noticing schwas when listening to British speakers. And finally, tip number 5, learn your vowels and your diphthongs. British English makes use of some unique vowel and diphthong sounds. For example, the short O vowel in words like hot and dog is very round with the lips pushed out. Hot, dog. Now, the Americans would use a more open R sound. Heart, dog. Work on pronouncing that short O and try incorporating it into the words. Other key sounds that are ear diphthong, so we hear it in beer, and the long A sound in bath. And of course the ow diphthong is one that I think sounds particularly British. Practice how now, brown cow. How now, brown cow. Really listen out for these telltale sounds in words. And don't forget to practice them. Your vowels are the bedrock of your accent. I've got videos showing you how to pronounce all these different sounds correctly. Each video guides you how to place your tongue, your lips and your mouth to produce these RP British accent sounds. If you want them, they're available as part of my British Accent Bundle. Go to learningbritishaccent.com/bundle to join up. So there you have 5 insider tips for taking your British accent to the next level. Focus on swapping vocabulary, pronouncing your T's clearly, knowing when R becomes a vowel, mastering that schwa, and training your vowel sounds. Consistency is key with accent work. Try incorporating these tips into your daily speech. Happy practicing! Well, that brings us to the end of another show. Thank you once again for your company. And a reminder, I've extended my end of summer sale on the British Accent Bundle, so do join now while the price is so low. It won't get any lower than this. Go to learningbritishaccent.com/bundle. So I'll see you soon. Bye for now.